Welcome everyone and thank you for being present to celebrate the life and legacy and love of Doris. I am Gregoire, the last of Doris' 5 children. Unfortunately, due to COVID, both my brother Gerard and myself are unable to travel from Toronto to Trinidad to be present for the funeral. I sat down to write this eulogy and I realized that as a child sees his or her mother in a different context than those of you who are relatives and friends of my mother. It's even difficult to speak on behalf of my siblings, Gary, Gerard, Camille, and Beverly, but I'll try to represent the shared feelings of love, devotion, and admiration we all felt towards our mother. Mummy, or Doris, or Camlyn, which was a Chinese name, or Cam Zantihilda, we'll always call her, or Dodo, which was the name Nicholas, her grandson, gave to her when he was a child and couldn't pronounce her name, was a true angel in all its meaning and the truest sense of the word. She was the best mother, wife, grandmother, sister, aunt, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, and friend anyone can ask for. She was very patient and extremely kind-hearted woman. She cared gently for everyone who crossed her path, and it was especially important that everyone around her was happy and loved. As her child, I can personally speak to her heart, her huge heart, as all my siblings can. You see, we all knew her heart and no one else did. Her heart was the first thing we all heard. Her heart kept us company, comforted us, lulled us to sleep, kept us awake and active. Her heartbeat was the first music any of us heard. Her heartbeat is something that we've known our entire lives and found precious our entire lives. We've never known a world without her heartbeat in it. And her voice. Her voice was the second thing my siblings and I heard. A voice we knew before we took our first breaths. A voice we spent a lifetime listening to, taking advice and counsel from. A voice we could hear anytime we wanted. A voice we counted on. A voice we are going to miss in this new world we have to get used to living in. We all now have to live in a world we've never known before. My siblings and my nephew all got to meet Mummy on Friday the 18th at 4:11 a.m. when she was taken from us and went up to heaven. Mummy passed away very peacefully, and this is what we all desire for our parents to pass away, with no pain. Mummy would be incredibly happy and honored to see the amount of people who are present in the church during COVID or streamlining online live here this morning to share her memory with us, as it was her family and friends who were the most important focus of her life. I think she would have said, "Ian, they're all here for me? You're kidding me." Little did she know how much she was loved by all who got to know her in her lifetime. So who is my mom? Her surname was Akan and came from a very humble family background. Her dad was Chan Akan, otherwise known as Papa, a chef from China, and her mom was Lorna, or Mama, with Grenadian background. She was the fourth of 6 children. If you do know and have ever met her siblings, I only know them by their Chinese names: Uncle Pakao, Auntie Guklin, Uncle Hongwing, Auntie Moy, and Uncle Asing. You would know and understand the love and integrity, honesty, dignity, and grace they all had for each other, and they in turn all passed it on to their families. My mom was a great wife, married my dad, and after her 3rd child, my sister Camille, left her job to be a full-time stay-home mom. She loved my father. When he died in 2005 on their wedding anniversary in New York, she was the rock who waited until all the kids had mourned, and then she did her mourning. My mom was an amazing mother and loved each one of her children equally. Those were her exact words. I remember asking my mom several times, "Mommy, who is your favorite child?" And she would look at me and said, "Ian, I love each one of you equally." And then I would say, okay, Mommy, really, who is your favorite child and best child?" And she would look at me and laugh and said, "Ian, I told you I love each one of you equally," and smiled. And I believed her. The love that she gave and showed us was non-stop. Again, her heart, her beautiful heart, bountiful, ever-loving heart, My mom was an equally great grandmother. She had 3 grandsons from Gary and 1 granddaughter from Jerry. Her grandkids adored Mummy, and she adored her grandkids. 2 of the traits my mom and dad instilled in their children were kindness and generosity. Both my parents were extremely kind and generous, and I see both traits in my siblings. Mummy's kindness was received by anyone who came over to the house. She welcomed everyone when they visited the house, and chances are you were guaranteed to get a meal. She was either always cooking, or there's always leftover pilau or chicken stew. Oh, sorry, I meant stew chicken, because I can hear my cousins Jacinta and Susan saying, "Boy, it's stew chicken, where are you from?" I knew my mom was in heaven. Even my mom knew she was going to heaven. I was chatting with my sister Camille on a Sunday after my mom passed away, and I told Camille, I truly think Mummy went straight to heaven. And Camille was saying that Mummy would always tell her, I know I'm going to heaven. And when Camille would question her on how she knew she was going to heaven, she would say, I just know I'm going straight to heaven. Well, of course she went straight to heaven. Her huge heart is now needed more than ever. Her endless love can work even harder now than it did here on earth. Her kindness, generosity, compassion, and goodwill can comfort so many more now, and I know it will. I remember 3 Christmases ago, I was in Trinidad and sitting down watching television with Mummy. And I turned to her and I said, Mummy, whoever dies first between both of us, the other person who's living has to light a candle for the person who has passed away. And the person who's living has to ask the candle questions like, are you okay? Are you at peace? And the candle flame, if it dances around or it grows, that means a yes. And if it stays normal, that means a no. And when my mom passed away on Friday it was 3:11 a.m. in Toronto because we're an hour behind, I went downstairs and I got a candle and I lit it and I came upstairs to my room and I put the candle on the table in my bedroom and I went to my bed and I looked at the candle and I said, Mummy, are you okay? Are you at peace? And the candle started dancing around. And then I said to her, Mummy, did Daddy come and meet you? And the candle started dancing around again because I know my dad was the first person that she wanted to see when she went up to heaven. And then the third question I asked her was, Mummy, did Mama and Papa and Auntie Gookling and Uncle Paco come and see you? Because I know she wanted to see her sisters and her brother and her mom and dad. And the candle again started dancing around. This brought a smile to my face and tears to my eyes because I knew she was with people she wanted to be with. And yet, she's still here communicating with me, just in a different way. We may not be able to feel her heartbeat or hear her voice anymore, but her love and presence can still be felt. It will always be felt. I would now like to take a few minutes to play something in tribute to my mom. I hope you enjoy it.
Taught me everything and everything you've given me. I always keep it inside. You're the driving force in my life. Hey, there isn't anything or anyone that I could be, and it just wouldn't feel right if I didn't have you by my side. Oh, you were there for me to love and care for me when skies were gray. Whenever I was down, you were always there to comfort me. No one else can be what you have been to me. You will always be. You will always be the girl in my life for all time. Mama, mama, you know I love you. Ooh, you know I love you, mama. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know, loving you is like food to my soul. You're always down for me, have always been around for me, even when I was bad. You showed me right from my wrong. Yes, you did. And you took up for me when everyone was down on me. You always did understand. You gave me strength to go on. There were so many times looking back when I was so afraid. And then you'd come to me and you'd say to me, I could face anything. And no one else can do what you've done for me. You'll always be, you will always be the girl in my life. Ooh, oh, mama, mama, you know I love you. You know I love you, oh, you know I love you, mama. Ooh, you're the queen of my heart. You is like tears from the stars. Your love is like tears from the stars. I just want you to know, mama, I just want you to know, it's like food to my soul. Never gonna go a day without you. Fills me up just thinking about you. I'll never go a day without my mama. Mama, you know I love you. The queen of my heart. Your love is like tears. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, 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 loving you is like food to my soul. Oh, loving you is like food to my soul. Oh, yeah. Loving you is like the food to my soul.
To wrap up, there's a lot of love in my mom's life. Even though she's gone, now I know her legacy will live on in all of us, just like my dad. She was an incredible mother and grandmother who inspired everyone who knew her. Mom, your memory lives on in all of our hearts forever. Until we meet again, Mommy, we will always love you. Love, Gary, Gerard, Camille, Beverly, your grandkids, and myself.
You're the one.